Welcome back to another episode of Two Scrippers One Poll. I've noticed that I keep starting episodes out. What? Hold on, y'all, because I just got an email from my coworker about some tea at work, because this is also part of like what I want to talk about. There's so many things. Okay, hold on, let me read this one thing at a time. Um, what the fuck? Okay, see, all right. So the sentence that I had started out with was, I've noticed that in the times that I've been recording, I'm like, it's been a week, it's been a month, but the shit never stops, y'all. Like, I can't make up the things that happen to me and the speed in which they happen to me. Like, literally, it just be in here like slap boxing. I hope my titty don't fall out, but it be crazy. And so this email or this message from my coworker also kind of just speaks to some of the crazy stuff. So it's been a month. The last time that I recorded was when I did the why am I putting a T in episode? Episode. Standing on business. I think that's 29. um And that was on February 29th, I think, or 28th, that week though. So it's been literally a month, because now it's April 1st. So you'll be getting this. Now you're like really up to date. And it's like I skipped a week because life was just hectic. And I ain't post nothing on Instagram because y'all get what I give you. It's me, myself, and I doing everything, which is also goes into a lot of the things that I'm going to talk about today. But it truly has been a month of so many ebbs and flows, ups and downs. Like it was like a good 2 weeks consistently. I was getting my ass slap boxed. It was crazy. Every time I got up to take a breath, boom, bitch, get back down. Just insane. But what I want to start off with first, where my sound effects at? Oh. Corrections. So for those of you that follow on Instagram, on March 18th, I had posted this reel, so I'll play it again. With that though, if you're going to do booty hole play with these or any device, once you use something for the butthole, don't use it for anything else. Like, that is now a butt toy. So if you have a favorite toy that you're like, ooh, this would really feel good in my butt, go ahead and buy a second one, because you're not supposed to cross contaminate. Now, you could move it from one booty hole to the next booty hole. I wouldn't suggest in the same session, maybe like if you're using a condom, but don't go from the coochie hole to the booty hole or the mouth or any other orifices. I was struggling to say that word. Yeah, so I posted that because we are now in April. So in the month of March, for Toy Talk, I talked about pervertibles. And so I don't even remember. Oh, the context of that clip, just real quick. I was talking about like kind of incorporating food play. I had said something about like maybe if you put like a condom on. Well, did I say that during February? I don't know, because everything is really just a blur. Like, or no, it's January. Where's my time going? January Toy Talk. Oh, January Toy Talk, I had recycled a Toy Talk from like last year, because we've been live for almost a year, y'all. This time last year, like, it was like we were starting, but the official 1 year anniversary of Two Scrippers One Poll is April 13th. So that'll be next week. And even though we took a little breaky break, it's been more than enough content pushed out for y'all. Thank you for the support. Thank you so much. Through all of the changes, which is something else I'm going to talk about today. It's just funny how things happen. But yeah, January was a recycled one. I think I talked about like I had just got some nipple clamps, and then I had some rope play, and I talked a little bit about impact. And then February was blindfolds and masks, sensory deprivation. It was like the pinwheel, and I talked about the Balesa Pebble. And then, which is definitely, that is like one of my go to toys. I love it. It is so small and like compact, comes in this cute little case. So it's definitely like when I pack my spend a night bag, baby girl go in that hoe. She actually low key. I've been neglecting Rose Kwan because she be doing the job for me. But this isn't a Balesa ad, even though use code BBMango30 for 30% off your next nut. um, Speaking of that, Vanessa Carlson, is it? No, it's Carlton. The making my way downtown, walking fast, faces pass, and I'm homebound. The Caps got her to remix that song for John Carlson, one of the hockey players. I don't know, is he starting this year? Is he a starter? I don't know. I love me some Caps, but I haven't been keeping up this season because life. But I had started, that's how I got there. I was talking about the Pebble. So then March was Pervertibles, and this month I'm talking about butt stuff. Anal play. Y'all know a booty hole don't scare you, girl. So join me on Patreon and let's talk about booty holes. So back to the reel. I had posted it, and the caption was, sometimes the booty hole is too appealing to pass it up, but once it touches the crack, it can't go back. I'm hilarious. Make sure to properly clean anal toys, as it is crucial for maintaining your health from harmful bacteria and infections that can be transmitted through sex toy use, and for keeping your sex toys in a usable and safe condition. So then Jax, shout out Jax. One of these days, Jax, let me just, if you're listening to this, if anybody who's listening to this knows Jax, they can attest to how much of a beautiful human being she is. I cannot wait till the day that 2S1P meets Jax. Perfect human being. So I love you if you're listening to this, and the other people who are listening to this who know you also love you. You do so much for the community. Yeah. So she commented on it and said, silicone, glass, medical grade ABS plastic, and steel are non-porous and can be cleaned properly after a session to be used in any fresh area the next time you play. If your toy is not made of those materials and you aren't using a condom on the toy, then you shouldn't share or cross-contaminate. So thank you, Jax, for that correction. I've heard like so many different stories from so many different people, and I talk a little bit about this on Toy Talk this month. Booty holes. I just think it's so funny that like here we are a year later still talking about booty holes, and the first episode 1 2 3 fingers in my butt, which is still, if you are an A1 day one, and even if you're not, go back and listen to that first episode, because I'm still so traumatized. This is the type of shit, like crazy shit just happens to me, and it's, you know what, it was my calling to share the crazy shit that happens to me, to you all. Like, everything just makes sense. But yeah, so I've heard different stories, or like from different people who are like sex workers and who sell sex toys and everything. So it's like, and who are educators. So it's mixed reviews on like, once it goes in the pink, or once it goes in the stink, it can't go in the pink no matter what, right? So for me, I just kind of go by that rule. But yeah, I really want a glass dildo. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know where that came from. Well, I do. I'm a little horny. I might masturbate after this. That's neither here nor there. What am I doing? That's when you like lose your train of thought, and then you just start talking to talk. It's like, what? I do that all the time. Like I don't even need my friends to be like, Kia, what the fuck? Because I do it to myself. Like, I'll be mid-thought and be like, bruh, why are you like this? But yes, so my rule of thumb is just like, well, the only toys, okay, that's where I was going with this. For me, the only toys that I have in my booty hole are anal beads and butt plugs, which I talk about. And if I've only stuck one other toy and I put a condom on there. Because that's just, for me, that is just what makes sense. So I'm going to leave it there because you're not going to get a Toy Talk conversation from me for free. Toy Talk is available in main stage in the champagne room. This is not the Patreon ad yet. Okay. So yeah, that's that for corrections. Whew. I honestly just don't even know where to start. The last episode that I recorded, I was still very much in the thick of things. Like, it didn't even, I thought it started, but it didn't. There was like the whole situation with, and I don't remember how much I talked about it, but now I'm like removed from it. So like I feel, cause that's the other thing too. Like I'm very transparent and open book, and I don't mind sharing the things that I have experienced. But I also think that like, I don't want to talk to people about the shit that I'm going through right then and there. Like I have to be able to sit back and reflect and like what was the purpose of this? And it's just like high emotional stuff. And I really wasn't catching a break. So it was like the whole month of March, a lot of good things happened, but a lot of rough things. Like those good things came out of a lot of rough things. And it was just constant like, boom, damn, what does this mean? Boom, damn, what does this mean? Boom, damn, what does this mean? And I was tired. I was still really emotional and like upset about a lot of things, still processing, like was scrambling to get things done. And when it comes to actually recording, like I get such good lighting in my apartment, which luckily I was just about to say fuck it and like postpone another day, but I was like, yeah, you can't keep doing that. Luckily it was raining. It was thunderstorming. It's been thunderstorming in like the past 2 days on and off. And I thought that it was going to be like a cloudy day, but at the last minute when I started wanting to record, the sun came out, like not as much as I would have liked it, but it looks better in here than it did earlier. So it was just like a combination of just constantly moving around, not being able to take a break, tired, working, like y'all know I got like 15, 11 jobs. Um, and trying to figure out the time of day because I could turn my camera around, but I like to see myself because y'all know I be having so many different phone malfunctions, like whether it's the mic. I didn't even bother plugging in the mic today because I said I don't got time. I spent the last 3 days editing. I'm back on track. I got like a system in place. I'm feeling good. And I was like, I don't need any more mishaps. So I didn't even plug the mic into my phone, made sure my shit was charged. You know, sometimes I be getting phone calls, all types of shit be happening. So I was like, I need my camera to face me. But with that being said, the front camera ain't as good as the back camera. And so when I do that, I like it for it to be light outside so that I get better quality. But I'm gonna stop being a tech nerd. I started all that to say is like I don't remember what I said in standing on business. Like I do, but I don't. Like I don't, because I was just at the start of it. I don't remember if I shared. So if I'm repeating myself, y'all get the fuller picture. So at that point, I had the whole reaction to the like the realization of response art with my client. And I was getting ready to, usually Tuesdays I go to school, and then come back home. Like I'll work from home, then go to school, then come back home. So this particular Tuesday, I had been up because I think it was the night before. Was it a full moon? When was that? Where's my calendar? I don't feel like getting up. Let me see. Because I remember what week that was. Or do I? Come on. So that was in February. I recorded on like February 29th or some shit. And then the week before, I think all of that. I think February full moon. When was the full moon in February? Wow, that was horrible. Oh, it was the 24th? Well, was it? I don't remember. Or did it get oh, it said it was on the 4th. The 24th. Huh. When was that? Cause then I feel like it definitely was. Hold on, let me look at my journal real quick. I'm gonna read some excerpts from my journal. No, I'm looking at March. I'm trying to find February. Did I write anything on February 24th? No, the last time was I had wrote on February 5th, and then I didn't pick it up again until February 29th. I guess maybe you know what? It was that week. Okay, yeah. So we're right. We're right on track. So the 24th, it really starts there. The full moon. So I had done some was that a Saturday? It was. So I had did like some protection stuff just in the house, charging crystals. It's funny. One of my friends, he was over here the other day. We were chilling, and he saw my altar, and everybody's like, "Oh, that voodoo witchcraft, boo 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 woo woo shit. You don't cast a spell on me." Shut the hell up, okay? First of all, even if I wanted to, I wouldn't, because karma is a motherfucking bitch. Any and everything that you put out into this universe is going to come back to you. And so that's why I'm like, honestly, somewhere, maybe in one of my past lives, or I was a little treacherous. But like, I've never been a treacherous person first. I can say that. When I was younger, I was just mean, because kids are mean and sometimes don't know no better. But like, even then, I'm not like, I didn't beat people up. I wouldn't say I was a bully, because there was nobody that I really, there was one time that I did do something that was very, very mean. And till this day, it does, that's when I realized, like, you can't just be saying anything. Because even then, it was like, that time, it was a little bit more spiteful. I'm not going to say what I said, but, as a child, I was blunt, which I struggle with now, because I really would just say whatever came to my head, and people would be like, "Yo, you can't say that. Like, what's wrong with you?" I literally had my second grade teacher told the class it was okay to say "shut up" only if they were saying it to me, because I was like so blunt and I hurt people's feelings. And I remember this one time, this girl, she came to me telling me how somebody else was bullying her. So I was like, yeah, if I were you, I would say da 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 da. And somebody else overheard me saying to her what I would say to her bully. And they told me to shut up, and then snitched on me and was like, yo, kids being mean again. And then the teacher told me to shut up. Like, Miss Schnupp. I hope you're doing well, though. I did like her until then. And then I just did, like, kind of, like, dumb shit as a kid, because that's what you do. But that's not about this. I say that to say, yeah, like, I don't know at what point I really deserved all this karma. But I've made for years. And that's why I never taught middle school. Because maybe it was just, like, the demon child I was in middle school. Particularly to Miss Harris, which is so funny that I became a teacher. I never had like a lot of problems with a bunch of teachers. There's just like there's less than a handful that, like, there was Miss Schnupp in second grade, there was Miss Cunningham in fifth grade, there was Miss Harris in seventh grade, and that was really all the teachers that I could say I had a significant, like, you said or did something to me that then I was just like, yeah. And so I no longer cared how, like, you didn't get respect from me. But Miss Chanel, we started out cool. And, like, I was a little bad. I think that was second grade. Yeah, I was a little bad in second grade. So, like, I can't blame her. Now, Miss Cunningham, the shit she pulled on me, I was just, in fifth and seventh grade, I was just petty at that point. And, like, this episode isn't about that. But Miss Harris is definitely the reason why I would have never taught middle school. Because I was like, I know for sure I gave that woman a living hell when I did not have to. And middle schoolers are insane. So keep me away. But I also always knew that I wanted to teach high school. We already at 20 minutes and I'm not even halfway in. So I might make this a 2-part episode. We'll see. But yeah, I wouldn't. That's why I brought that up. I wouldn't put, whether you want to say, oh, it's you're casting spells, you're praying, you're doing this, whatever. I don't put negative energy out into the universe because I know how hard life is. I don't want, like, people are hurting. Everybody has something that they're dealing with, whether it seems like it or not. People are going through shit. People have their own trauma that they're trying to heal from in their daily battles. So I know my life be life in, so I know for sure other people's life be life in. Why do I want to wish more misery onto a person? No. But yeah, so I was in here doing like witchy woo woo shit. Just like asking for protection because I know, like, I've talked about this a lot too, just about the power of words and my manifestation series, which I'll actually, if you're watching this, I will put it in the video right now. And if you are listening to this, you can check the Instagram story. I have to make sure to make a note to post it. But my manifestation series: creativity, joy, abundance, and love. And I'm pretty sure that I did it in that order. And when I started that series, I didn't really know what I was getting myself into. I didn't know what I was asking for. Like, I didn't understand the power that I had just essentially unlocked. I go into this store and I'm like, oh, these are cool. This is something that I want in my life. And I've gotten, like, the candles with the mantras before, like the Reiki candles and stuff. And I didn't really sit with them. That's what I'll say. Because with this series, the process that I had was I got the candle. Before I would start working, I would read the mantra out loud as I lit the candle. And then I had on pieces of paper, smaller pieces of paper. I think it was like watercolor mixed media paper. That doesn't really matter. But I just rewrote the mantra over and over and over until there was no more room on the paper. And then from there, I had kind of like drew lines on the pieces of paper and and then I colored them separately, and I based the color based on the candle. So like the creativity piece, that was a purple candle. The joy was an orange candle. The abundance was a green candle, and then the love was a pink candle. So I picked that main color, and it's complementary. So the majority of the colors in creativity, purple and yellow. In why am I blanking? Joy, orange and blue. And then abundance and love are essentially pink and green, red and green. And so I would do like that contrast and like the adjacent colors. So it was very rooted in color theory. Once I picked out my color set, then I separated the actual pieces of paper. And the piece of paper that I was working with was like a 4x6 or maybe 5x7. It wasn't big at all. And then I would cut it up and I arranged it onto the paper, or not the paper, the wooden panel, which the wooden panels were like 11 inches by 16 inches. And then from there, I like continued the composition of like drawing the lines. And I like mirror in my pieces because maybe it's cliche, but I think I just love mirrors and like the idea of reflection and how important that is, and kind of like in artwork placing, like, it's a forced way to place yourself in the work. So all of my work has some kind of mirror in it, um more or less. And even like when I think about this piece up here, or like more of my resin based pieces, some of them don't have mirror in it, but the reflective surface of the resin still mirrors, the idea that I'm trying to get across. um so yeah, and then I just started like going from there. But every time I was working, I would have the candle lit, and so I worked on each piece separately. Creativity, starting with creativity, like, it opened the door for all of my ideas. Even now, like, coming up, I be having, like, my friends be dying right now. Shout out episode, I don't remember what number that is, but dildo on a power drill. Yo, I finally got the hard hat and the motherfucking construction vest. Like, and it's just like crazy shit be coming up to my head. Even the farting jars, like, I'm gonna come back to that. I got all these ideas and they're going to come to fruition. Like, crazy, crazy creative shit. Like, there's a quote somewhere, but it's oh, in one of the articles I was reading for school, it was talking about like, you know art therapy being important and revolutionary, and like what it really is, it's creative problem solving. That is what it is, encouraging in life. No matter what, even take art out of things, like, in order to solve a problem you have to come up with a solution. Like, that takes creativity, that takes like some sort of intuition, like, so it's all connected. But yeah, so like starting with creativity and starting that process to then guide the next couple of pieces that I did, with, what is that, with joy. I did that next, and I think about how, although, leaving teaching, and that sense of security, I'm happy. I can genuinely say, like, yes, life is kicking my fucking ass, but I am so much happier than I was, what, 3 years ago now. It's been 3 years since, or I'm going on the third year since I left teaching, and I've been on a hell of a roller coaster ride. But at the end of the day, I don't have those migraines anymore. I'm not stressing out over a lesson plan or meeting objectives or just like worrying about my kids. And like, I'm obviously still friends with my old coworkers, and the shit that they tell me, this school system hasn't gotten any better. Like, and so I had almost went back. I almost went back to that shit. But I'm happy. I genuinely am happy. I look at my bank account sometimes, I'm like, God damn. But I'm happy. So even having to kind of look at, what does joy look like for me? Am I still busy and running around? Yes, but it is easier for me in ways to continue connecting with people, because I'm not, like, I'm worn out from other things, but I'm having more fruitful conversations and connection. And I think that goes with love too. I'm surrounded by love, and I've talked about my affirmations, love and light. Like, I want to put love and light out into this world. We need more love in the world. We all want to feel loved. We all want to feel needed. Um, Abundance. I've said this before. I meant money. Give me the fucking cheddar cheese green, okay? And in ways it has, and but it's just funny to think, like, thinking of what space I was in, literally and physically, like, just leaving teaching, the relationship that I was in, it was very toxic. It wasn't a good relationship, but at that point everything else had just been going wrong, and I felt like this is the best it's gonna get. Whoo, child. Ooh, little did I know. And there's stories connected to that too. Mm, 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 mm. And I just keep having all these revelations of that relationship. And it's like doing some journaling, and one of the things that I had got said, one of the affirmations I used, third eye thoughts. One of the affirmations on March 30th, it was, be grateful for what you thought you wanted. Be grateful that what you thought you wanted never materialized. Trust that you were being protected and redirected to more. When you try to create from impatience and chaos, foundations will crumble. What is yours can never be taken away from you. Build from a better place by believing your miracles are already done. Sometimes what you wanted was too small for what you are really worth. Trust in the fullness of what you desire. And just like really heavy on the be grateful that what you thought you wanted never materialized. Because at that point in my life, I was in a settling place. So I was just like, shit happens. We're gonna figure it out. This is the best that it's gonna get. So how can I be happy within? But I wasn't really happy. Like how can I make myself feel like I'm happy? Um, at the same time that I was doing this blindly, and here we are. It has now been 3 years since all of that happened. Like this is around the time. Huh. I need. Interessante. Y'all, I've been doing a lot of like. I've been looking more into numerology, which eventually I'm gonna get to episodes focused on that. Yeah, this is probably gonna be like a two, maybe even a 3-part episode, because I got a lot of things I want to talk about, and it'd just be easier to edit like 1 to 2, like 120, because it's like if an episode is 1 hour, it takes me like 2, maybe 2.5, because sometimes I begin distracted. But then I also make episodes long because I go off on tangents like this. Back to the point. Let me drink my tea. Um, I was talking to it was something that I realized, like April is in the past 3-4 years. Well, definitely since the past 3 years for sure. Something of significance has happened that has like changed my course. So I just need to really keep my eyes open this month. I'm not gonna say I already have something lined up that is like a big fucking deal for me. A really big fucking deal. So I can't wait till that happens. And it actually kind of stems from the last episode that I actually recorded, Standing on Business. Um, when I had all of those revelations that day, I had reached out to some people, and 3 people in particular that I just feel are really they have they're on a path that they have already achieved a part of my path, if that makes sense. Like I don't Yeah, that makes sense. Like what I want to do. So I started doing things and I was like, I don't know how this is possible. And then they came across my like just my site. Somehow something about them came across to me. And it was like, you're on the right path. This is possible. Like this has been done before. Not their path is obviously not your path. It's not done in the same way, but like what you're thinking of is very much possible and doable. And they're all black women, so that makes me even more excited. So I reached out to one person, and I'm just minding my business, and I just decided to check my email, and she messaged me back and was like really excited. So I can't wait to share that with y'all. But back to the topic, yeah, like, and to even think, well, that happened in March, but we're supposed to meet this month. And like last year in April is when it's been a year since I have dived into sex work officially. Because I think even this time last year I was in North Carolina for Dreamville, so then it would have been a year next week where we went live, but then also a year next week that I had officially like started getting more into the sex work, because I think even the episode where saying goodbye to Tori, our last episode together, I had mentioned in her, I'm like, thank you for just like, helping me start this, and Tori is like one of my inspirations for sex work. She's been doing that for years and was doing that for years, and just has always been a support system in that way. So to even think about like this time last year, where I was at with the podcast, where I was at with sex work, where I was at with school, hadn't even started school, like, and then 3 years ago, this is where the relationship that I was in, it started really falling apart in April. At the same time that I'm asking for all this stuff. So then my life got turned upside down, and we just started rolling with the punches, and it's been a lot of ebbs and flows since then. And so the reason why I was like, oh my God, epiphany, because I was like, oh, April, the 4th month. And April is, shout out to all my Aries. I like to think, this makes me a little sad because I don't know if I really care for March Aries, particularly the men. But honestly, I don't really be caring for men because y'all be y'all. And so like technically my Aries birthday would be March 30th. But I don't like that because I don't like the March. If you have a March birthday or March Aries birthday, like, I'm sorry that I don't like you. Blame it on I know, well, one of them is an April, and honestly, it's just men. That's all it is. It's just men. That's it. Cause wait, yeah, it's men. Cause I have one of my really close friends. Her birthday is March 25th, and I love her. I bring this up because for all of my astrological peeps, I have a moon and rising in Aries. So I think honestly, April might just be my month. I could say that my birthday is April 12th. Yeah, I'll say that. My Aries birthday is April 12th. So back to that. Sitting with all of that, not knowing what I was asking for, and now here I am 3 years later, and I can truly see like what I asked for and how it has manifested. And so to bring it back to real time, under the full moon, I just rapped for like 20 minutes just long story short, is never fucking short with me. So I'm in here asking for protection. And so that happened that Saturday. Then that Monday, I had like my regular routine, got up, went to my internship, came back home, started doing homework, and then I had got a notice on my door saying that the water was going to be cut off. So I'm like, okay, I got to make sure I get all of my things done. I needed to clean up. I wanted to do some other spiritual work, and I started falling asleep trying to do this damn project. And yeah, y'all know how that go. So rushing, and then I ended up waking up, I think at like 2 o'clock in the morning. So like at this point it's Tuesday. I'm taking a bath, and I'm just up. Like I'm up. I'm making content. I'm in a good mood. I'm like, this is gonna be a good day. Because I also noticed that Tuesdays and Thursdays are good days for me. Anyway, so then started pole dancing, made that connection between like school and art and everything, and got that push to start reaching out to people. And so then later that day, instead of going straight to school, I think there was like an event or something for one of my jobs that had to be done. But whatever, I had to stop by the office. So I went to the office, and from there I was going to go straight to school and come back. Or no, yeah, I was at home, going to go to work, go straight to school, then come back home. But when I went to work, I had decided to stop by my house. So I pull into my spot, turn the car off, and I hear so I'm like, the fuck? Like, do I not have air in my tire? What's happening? So I get out the car and I'm checking, like I could tell it's coming from the front of the car. So I check my front tires. I'm kicking them, punching them, poking them. Don't hear nothing. Don't, like, I still hear the hissing noise, but my tires are fine. So I'm like, what the fuck? So then it was like a point where I walked around and I heard it come. I heard it from the, like, the inside. So I popped the hood and I opened up the fucking hood and it's fucking smoke coming out. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? So I called my dad and he tells me that it looks like and I like taking a video. He's like, it looks like you have a radiator leak, blah blah blah, like don't drive it, put water in it if you have to drive it, this, that, and third. I'm like, okay, cool. So I just like move my car so it's out the way and I just go about my business. So at this point though, like I have to go to school. What the fuck? So I'm trying to, like, I look at an Uber. Uber is crazy, $80. Fuck no, I'm not paying no $80 to go to class because I still gotta come back home too. So you talking about 160 to go to class? Oh, fucking bugging. No. So I'm looking into like the train, but at the same time, like it's getting later and later. And I'm still like, at that point I'm like, okay, well maybe can I find a ride to campus? Can I find a ride to the train and back home? Like what can I do? And nothing was really panning out. So then I had like went and hung out with one of my partners, and we had a really fruitful conversation. And then the next day, I I wake up in the morning and get a email from my insurance company telling me that my insurance is going up. And when I say, mind y'all, and you know, I always take, I try my best to acknowledge when I've done something wrong and change behavior. I was watching the Pivot yesterday, the episode with Charlemagne, and I really like what he said, you know, I've heard it before, but I also I kind of had the ick from Charlemagne, and I really can't remember. I just feel like every time I see his name or his face, I just get the ick because it's just some drama attached to it. But honestly, that's what social media does. They take like a little bit and leave all context out. Even though like no, he's definitely admitted like he's been a shitty person before. And like I've seen some of the things that come out of his mouth on some of the things. I'll be like, yo, but I've heard people like, oh my gosh, Charlemagne. And I'm like, I don't get it. But I watched that. He had a really good episode with the Pivot cast. And he was saying that like the best apology is change behavior. So I try my best to do that, right? But that's why I brought that up. Like, I fully recognize that a lot of, like, in my younger 20s, nobody taught me better. We didn't have, like, fucking accounting classes weren't mandatory. Learning about taxes and credit and stuff, like, and that's a whole nother conversation for another day. Like, y'all worried about Pythagorean theorem and fucking shit like that. No, motherfuckers need to know how to do taxes, not get caught up in tax fraud, or what the fuck is credit? How does it work? You know, credit utilization. There's so many things, like actual life lessons, like in home economics. Like, motherfuckers don't know how to cook. Motherfuckers don't know how to do basic stuff. They don't know how to patch a hole in their pants. A lot of like really key things. Driving school. When my mom was in school, they had driver's ed as a course in school. You did not have to pay for that. Now you gotta pay like $350 to go out for 6 hours. That's crazy. Like, they're really just making they're feeding people, and I don't want to say it's useless information, but the chances of me needing to know Pythagorean theorem is very less than me needing to know what the fuck taxes are. So just that. But I think about, obviously, the lack of education or resources that I had or knew about, but also just some of the things that I did that just were reckless and I didn't care, because I was also in a mindset of like, I've always been really good at making money. I've had this entrepreneurial spirit. My mom told me about this story when and I do remember it. When I was younger, I decided to like gather the kids in the neighborhood and do a car wash. We made posters and everything and stood right on the street with our little posters. And it was like everybody's parents. Like, just driving by like, oh, we'll wash your car. And I think it was something. And we did this also that like we could go to the corner store and get some hot chips, some motherfucking cheese fries and a big burst and some goddamn fruities like and some wrap snacks. So I think we were only charging like $2 or something. I don't know, because things used to be cheap back then too. Wow, I want to be a child again. So I had like went to my mom. She's always supported me. And mom, if you ever come across this, I love you very much. I do. I really do. And she paid us not to wash her car. She gave $10 not to wash her car. I honestly can't remember if I remember her saying. I want to say that I didn't hear the not part. And it was also like, dang, you gave us $10 and we were only charging like it wasn't over $5. It was something really cheap. I'm like, dang, you gave us $10. Like, I'm really gonna wash your car. So she said, I gave you $10 to not wash my car. I come outside and I just see kids crawling on my car and all these footsteps everywhere. And mind you, I'm pretty sure her car at that time was white. I'm pretty sure that was the white car. And she was like, I had to go, like, after I gave you the money, I had to go to the car wash anyway. So yeah, it's just like, I've always had that, in my spirit. I've always came up with these creative ideas of how to make money. And at that point in my life, like in my earlier 20s, I wasn't doing any entrepreneurial work because I was like, oh, I'm in school, I'm a teacher, and I'm still, and even now, the plight of an entrepreneur or an artist is really like just trying to figure out your style, your process, your, like, one of the hardest things is pricing whatever you think you're worth without reasonable, like, don't be charging people $300 to do their hair when you've only ever braided one person's hair and the braids fell out. Like, let's be reasonable here. If you really don't know what you're doing, but think about like where I started out with prices is like how I start out is I obviously the cost of materials times 2. Like, especially if it's something that cannot be used again. So let's say I have a resin project and let me think. Well, in art, a lot of things. I'm trying, like, if it's a tool versus this. So like if I'm doing a resin project and I need to buy a torch in order to complete the project, that is something that I would probably, like, I will only do one of in the price, but like resin, I'm gonna have to replace that. And I haven't really sold any like resin projects. Have I? I did. I sold one resin project, but resin is also new to me within the past. Well, no, resin's new to me within the past 2 years, but like mainly resin is within the past year. But I also don't do a lot of resin because it's so toxic. When I was doing the manifestation series and I had made a reel and they chewed me to pieces on Instagram because I didn't have on a gas mask and gloves. Like, they were, what are you doing? That's so toxic. Blah, blah, blah. It was crazy. But anyway, I like to do the cost of materials times 2 and then add labor. And it's like, know your worth, add tax, be reasonable with those numbers. But if somebody really wants it, somebody's gonna pay for it. And it's a lot of times too with that entrepreneur spirit, it's hard because you expect your friends to be your biggest supporters, and they're not, it'd be people but might not always, like, you wouldn't necessarily consider them the biggest friend, but like y'all grew up, or like what I'm getting at is, yeah, you be thinking it's like your dogs, and that's not my dogs, some of my dogs, yeah, but like you be thinking to be your dogs, it's gonna be ride or die, and they don't be, even when it's something like, y'all can't give a nigga a simple repost. Like, I'm like, Anyway, back to On Track, which I don't even remember what On Track was. Um, I went off on a tangent about April and car. So, that's what I was talking about. So, got an email from my insurance saying that my insurance was really about to be through the motherfucking roof for liability only. Like, because that's also part of the reason. Like, so, in when I first got my license back in like 2018, I've been in 5 car accidents. Back in 2018 was my first 2. And then I didn't have another one until 2021. Somebody hit me. Then later later that year, or was it was 2022, in like February of 2022. I was a passenger and somebody hit us. And then in 2022, was that 20? Yeah, that was 2022. Passenger with Katie, and then 2 weeks later it was mine. So the one that was mine, my car had hydroplaned while merging onto 695. And if you're familiar with the area, let's say you're on 295 heading towards Laurel, and you're coming, let's say you just got off of, like, you're between the Hydesville and Greenbelt exit. So I'm taking, right before the Greenbelt exit, you're merging on to 695 to go towards Baltimore. So I'm taking that exit. And my car started hydroplaning as I was merging, and it like just started swinging everywhere. And the next thing I know, like, it all happened really fast. The next thing I know, I T-boned somebody, and they went flying, and I went flying, and nobody got like seriously hurt, but it was a really bad accident. And it's like, I had gotten a ticket for that, and that's just really, that really kind of pissed me off, because it was like, oh, failure to control speed on the highway. And I wasn't going fast, because I'm already paranoid to be in a car. The accident that Katie and I was in was similar, like no other cars were involved, but just like the act of merging onto another highway, and just like the shit just kind of hightailing, and like ours was like, that was the moment that I've said before, I really didn't think that either of us were going to make it out alive. So that was just like the moment where everything for me, how I live now, trying my best, and it's very hard, and I have to kind of keep reminding myself that, but it's like trying my best to be in the present moment, because that's all we have. And really just like, I'm going to take my time with things, and if there's something that I want now, I'm going to do that now. And I mean that in terms of like experiences, right? And I also need to exercise better discipline with that, which I'm working on. Something that, I've always needed to do is discipline, and is a bit of a struggle for me. But yeah, they try to say, like, I knew I wasn't speeding because I was petrified, and it was raining. Like, I don't like driving in the rain, especially now since that. So it was like fresh from that, and so I knew. I had like looked in my rear view mirror to see if cars were behind me. I was very aware, and I don't remember, of course, what the odometer said. Not the odometer, the speed, whatever the fuck. I don't remember what that said, but like, I know I wasn't going fast. And it was like, they gave me a ticket for like 130, I think. And then it was just like, I didn't really know how to read a ticket. So I had pleaded guilty with explanation, because it was like, okay, I did cause an accident, but the accident wasn't caused from this. Like, I wasn't speeding. It just happened. Maybe I needed new tires or whatever. So that's what my thought process was. So I went in, and luckily the cop that wrote me the ticket wasn't there. So I could have, like, um they were letting people say, since the cop wasn't there, and like people who said guilty with explanation, they had the chance to like say, oh no, I didn't know, I want to rewrite it, whatever. And it was just like, for me, it was kind of like a consciousness thing. I really didn't know what to say, because it's like, well, I did cause the accident, but it wasn't because of any negligence in the moment. Like, I was kind of, it was like a moral thing. So I didn't want to say not guilty, because I'm guilty of part of it, not the whole. I should have just said, no, I'm not guilty. Let me come back. But no, so I felt like I did the right thing. And so then the judge was like, okay, well, is it still an active investigation? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, okay, well, I still have to like charge you. So I ended up getting, I had to pay the ticket, which ended up being more. Y'all, this is the thing, right? With tickets, speeding tickets, just pay the fucking ticket. Do not go to court. If it's something where, if it's a motion, like a motion violation from a camera, just pay the ticket. Do not go to court. If it is a police officer that stops you, try your hand in court. Because I remember my very first ticket, the judge had came, well, the cop had came, he was a dick. I'm not even gonna get into that, but the judge had granted me probation before judgment, so I didn't have to pay the ticket. It was because I was still on a provisionals and young. If I were to get into, like, if I got another violation, they would have added that to the new fee. Like, I would have been double charged at that point. And so then it was like another time that I had got a speeding ticket, which this cop, he has said that I was going 64. Was I? Whatever is I was going 14 miles over. So I guess I was going 69. I was going 69 and a 55. Is that math right? Yeah. And he pulled me over, and he wrote me the ticket, but then he was trying to say like, yeah, I reduced it so it's not as bad. I said you were going 64 instead. So I'm sitting here like, oh my God, thank you so much. Da, da, da. But then I looked at the ticket, and he changed it to say I was going 64 in a 50. So I'm still doing the same shit. Like, y'all read these papers. So I'm like, fuck no. And like, at that point, I was taking that route a lot. So I'm like, this not even right, because it's a 55. So I pulled over. I sure enough did. Pulled over on the side of the road and took a picture of that goddamn sign. Because this say, and I made sure the geotag was on that bitch and everything. This say that you stopped me on Briggs Cheney. Well, Briggs Cheney say 55 miles per hour, not 50. So this ticket ain't even right, my nigga. Yeah, like, I was heated. I was so ready to go in that damn courtroom and show him a new asshole. You know what? Let me put the ads in here. Ooh. Oh, I didn't even see you there. I was too busy double whammying it out with my Finger Pro Air and my handy dandy motherfucking thrust. Go ahead and use the link in the bio so you can double whammy it out too. Use code BBMango30 for 30% off. That's BBMANGO30 for 30% off your next nut. This month on Behind the Scenes Poll Play, available in all Patreon tiers. Back up to the beat, do whatever. Look at me, I look so good. Bring it back down, boom, boom, boom. Bring it back up, boom, boom, ooh, ooh, boom, boom, boom. Be careful while practicing, y'all. Do not do things like me, okay? I know it's monkey say, not monkey do. Do as I say, not as I do. Like, on all levels, okay? Because your journey is your journey. But like, be more careful than I be. This is the disclaimer, okay? Anyway, We're gonna kick it up. And then I could do a little booty 1 and 2. Shaking that ass for some $2 bills. Shaking that ass for some $2 bills. Shaking that ass. Somebody went to the bank and they gave them $2 bills. Okay. Sugar the ass. Oh, that's what I said. I said trace it up.
Available in Main Stage and Champagne Room this month on Toy Talk, Mango discusses anal play.
Now, obviously, unless you're like really flexible, you can't eat your own ass. If you can, you need to start a business right now, and you need to start doing like flex training classes, because your girl's trying to eat her own pussy. So you got your first customer right here. Or maybe we could do some kind of exchange, because right now the funds ain't really in the spot to be paying people to teach me how to do stuff. That's why I learn on my own. But we could like collab and something, teach me how to eat my own pussy. Anyway, that's neither here nor there, because we're talking about butt stuff. If you want me to peck you, boo, just say that. If you want me to eat your ass, boo, just say that, okay? Because we having sex. We making each other feel good. And if this is what's going to make me feel good, then go ahead and try it. Like, consent is enthusiastic, yes. Like, I want this. Like, yes, I want you to eat my ass. I want you to gobble me up like it's the last motherfucking supper. What? Whew. Flashbacks. Anyway.
Available only in the Champagne Room. This month on Tales of a Sensual Findom, Mango discusses phone sex operation sites, Sex Panther and Night Flirt.
And I think I talked about this in a regular episode. So the dude messaged me, and he sends a picture of him like in a dark room on his knees with his head bowed down. And he's like, on my knees bowing down to your perfect ass, goddess. And I said, a good boy who knows his place. And he says, yes, goddess, I'll beg to grovel and be a bitch for your perfect ass. Please, can I call, goddess? So I said, you need to beg harder than that, bitch. Show me how badly you want to worship me. So he's like, your ass owns my life. I'm your bitch. You win. I submit. Please, can I grovel to you on the phone, my superior ebony goddess? So I said, I always win. When I get finished with this pig, I'll ruin you next. And he's like, thank you, goddess. I'll wait on my knees for permission to call. He's like, hello. And I could tell immediately he was masturbating off bucks. Okay, and we're back. I'm gonna try to wrap it up. But no, we'll see. Anyway, yeah. I was talking about the ticket. So then he ended up not showing up, so I didn't have to pay it. So I wasn't back in court until my license plate got stolen, and I was there because it was like, it wasn't me. I have the proof from the MVA that I didn't do this. But before that was what I'm talking about now, my last accident. So basically what happens is they charge you a whole bunch of court fees. So you end up paying more. They say, oh, I'm going to do this and da-da-da. So he was like, oh, I'm going to reduce the ticket to like $120. But then with the court fees and all of that stuff, it ended up being over $130. And then he told me they weren't going to put points on my license, but they did. So I have 3 points on my license because of this accident. And whatever else. And then when my car had all of its issues back in last August with like the engine dying and I had like got locked out one night, that alone, the lockout in the engine, like I needed to tow less than 2 miles, y'all, less than 2 miles. Between the tow and the lockout, that raised my insurance by $100. And then add like still having the accident and the points on my license. So it's just like, I'm not even gonna tell y'all how much they really trying to make me pay. But I ended up switching insurance. I had Progressive because at the time, because I had like a rough driving record at first, Progressive, like at first, y'all know it's bad when y'all could only get like Maryland state insurance. So when I had first started driving, I had that. Then I was able to get out of that and go to Progressive, and I had switched to Progressive like in 2020, and I had been with them up until now. So that, what I'm saying, that morning got the notification that my insurance was about to go through the roof. Then later that evening on my way home, I I check my email, and it's an email from my supervisor saying that part-time employees are no longer allowed to work from home. We have to go in the office starting the next week, because this particular week was like the end of the pay period. So I'm like, what the fuck? Like, y'all already, because I'm a part-time employee, y'all give me hell if I clock in 31 hours for a week. So I have to do it at 30. The taxes are just through, the taxes they take out are through the fucking roof. So I really don't, like, it's a consistent paycheck, but it's not a lot. I still have to bust my ass in other ways to make those ends meet. And now you're telling me, like, part of the reason why I've been with y'all so long and, like, is me being comfortable, is because that flexibility. Like, with grad school, with my internship, I can't just have any job, or it's going to be something where I really have to be go, 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 go. And I have to compromise, like, well, I don't have to, but I felt like I would have to compromise, like, my self-care in order to pay. Oh, I hope that bird is okay, because he definitely just, like, dead dropped from the fucking, whoa. I just hope he saw some food and dived for it, because y'all, the way that bird just pew. Yeah, it was like part of the reason why I have been sitting in this so long is because, like, the flexibility, I don't really get that anywhere else, without having to drastically change my schedule. Like, even I'm part-time with my school schedule, but it's really full-time. I have my internship twice a week, which is at least like 50 hours. And then with me being part-time, I only have to go to campus twice a week. So it averages out to about, like, and I did, like, with homework and all that stuff, because grad school is a different beast. Okay, if you are considering getting your master's or any, like, any higher education degree, like, make sure it's what you want to do. It's hard work, like, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. Getting a master's, and shout out to the people who got PhDs. I don't want to. Like, that is something that I'm fine with saying. I could never. I could, but I don't want to. I don't want a PhD. And that could change for me years down the line, because the other thing is, I love learning. I love it. I knew I was going to get a master's because originally I was going to go into clinical psychology. So I always said if I didn't major in art, psych would have, like, I knew I wanted to do art education, which is why I went to Towson, because they had the art education program. Whereas everywhere else, I would have had to either major in art or major in education, and do the other one is, like, either a double major or like a minor. And I knew that I've always said if that wasn't my calling, I would have gone into psychology. So originally, my plan was to be like a clinical psychologist focusing on, like, HIV and AIDS. I wanted to be a HIV and AIDS counselor. So when I remember, like, my graduation announcements had said, like, oh, she's receiving her degree and da-da-da. Her next steps, and in the next, like, 5 to 10 years, she plans on getting her master's in clinical psychology. That changed from clinical psychology to public health. I wanted to do public health, for the same reason, and I looked into programs, but then I started shifting away from it because they wanted, like, science and math, and that is not me. I'm not taking those classes. And then the pandemic happened, and I was teaching high school, and, I found my way to art therapy. So, I got the psychology, right? And now I'm a sex worker, and then the sex therapist avenue. So it was like, I knew that this line of work was coming to me. I've always known, I didn't know how it was going to show up. And so I think that even, what is yours can never be taken away. We have these pivots, we have these changes, but it's for a reason. It's for something better. Like, and so you have to do that reflection and see, like, what was the purpose of this? Or even when I asked for this, like, I meant this, but how is this showing up in a different way? And I've shared this example a lot of times, with the abundance thing. Like, it's shown up in sex work, the sex work, the podcast, my internship, this idea of abundance, and I'm seeing abundance in love and joy and creativity, and everything that I have my foot in has the potential to make that money that I would like to see as an artist. Like, this shit is expensive, you know. One of these days I'm gonna sell me a triple digit piece. I'll be excited for that, you know. I've had a couple of successes throughout my artistic career, of selling art. And shout out to, if you're listening to this and you've ever bought a piece of art from me, shout out to you. Like, I have a friend, she actually, I gotta text her back, god damn it. She reached out to me a little while ago and asked me to make her another piece. She's been buying pieces from me for years, and we used to be like good friends, and then we fell off for dumb for dumb reasons, but not dumb reasons. Like, the situation was dumb, but the situation called out more serious things. Um and you know, but we still have that mutual respect for each other as like people. And like, you know, I like I said, I don't like to wish negative things on people. I want the best for everybody in the club getting tipsy, everybody in the club getting tipsy, everybody in the club getting tipsy. Yeah, so do I want to end it here? I'm trying to think. Where was I at? I was talking about my job. Let me see what day of the week that is. Y'all, should I change my shirt so that it feels like it's a whole new week and a whole new episode? I think I might. So I'm still on February 28th. Okay, so I'll get up to where I had recorded the episode, and then I'll come back and like do another episode and say. But before I continue, no, I'll finish the story because y'all know how that could take me another 20 minutes to finish. So, I wonder, do y'all ever be like, when I be having these tangents and forgetting, do y'all be yelling at me like, girl, you was just talking about this? And then when I finally bring myself back and catch it, do y'all applaud me? I hope y'all do. I like to think that y'all do. I like to think a lot of things, right? Delulu is the Solulu. And you know what? Speaking of Delulu being a Solulu, it is. You have to live in delusion. You have to. But who is that delusion serving? When you really think about, like, is your delusion rooted in like, I'm a bad bitch and I got my motherfucking house and my motherfucking G-Wagon and all my bills is paid and I'm on the islands in Waikiki, when really you living in the projects? Or is your delusion like, fuck that nigga, but he my baby daddy and I love him and we getting married and them mother bitches ain't shit because I'm the top one. Like, I'm really his ride or die. You know, who is the delusion serving? What when we really get to the root of the delusion, is it doing good for you? Or is it just continuing to stress you out? You know? So Delulu is a Solulu, but we need to put a lot more intention and positive energy into our delusions. So my delusions, I love living in delusion. It's a great place for sure. And I just think about like all the celebrities more or less have the same, like, you know, I was bar hopping, I was doing this, I was outside with like guitar cases getting this, and now look at me selling, like traveling across the world selling out stages, and like, just, you know, or even actors and actresses, like they just really had this passion and just kept going with it, and look at them now, like all these awards and shit. So Delulu is the Solulu. Fuck y'all. Insurance purposes. This call may be recorded for insurance purposes. This is where I imagine y'all are yelling at me. I don't remember. So I'm gonna just go back to the last point that I remembered. My job, cutting hours, the 29th, Yeah, so I got home. Yes. So, okay. Well, I'm here. I'm at the end of the episode. I did all of that for nothing. So I had got back home and got that message from my job. And just kind of like that's where I was. With school, like my schedule is just working from home is way more convenient. I go into the office like 2-3 times a week. So now you're telling me that like, my 30 hours per week is really going to be cut down to like 15. Maybe if I could like, I've been really trying to finesse and like work how I can and when I can, and I'm like at 20 hours, but I can't do the 30 hours. Can't do the 30 hours. So now, and it's like I don't really know. In the past month too, my weeks have been like with spring break or certain days off. Like today's a Monday. Normally I would have been in my internship all day, but this was like a day that we weren't allowed to actually go into work because of like Easter weekend, like with insurance and all of that stuff. It's certain days that we can't do our internship. I had spring break. There's been problems with my car, so I haven't been able to go to school or even get to the train station. So it's just been like all these different barriers where I don't truly know what my schedule looks like. So when I can go into the office, I do. So I don't even know what like a consistent paycheck would look like going forward. So yeah, that's just been like a lot. And so then when I recorded Standing on Business, that is when this was like I had got home from this email, and that was literally It hadn't even been a week, y'all. It wasn't the 29th. I got back the 28th, but that's what it was. I had got back. It was Saturday. Sunday was chill. Sunday was a good day. I went to the library, got me some books, all of that. Then the 26th, the 27th, and the 28th. So I can't count. In a 5-day span, all of that shit happened. Like, yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. And I had like came home and I was like, okay, like, this, that, and the third, this all happened. Cause I don't remember if I had said it, but even when all of that shit happened, like, I'm like, why the fuck is this happening? But I had to realize under the full moon, I asked for protection. And the universe has a hilarious way, because I have a story? Which is neither here nor there. I asked for protection. The universe has a funny way of showing things. So what I had to realize is that, like, before all of this stuff happened, me asking for protection, had I not decided to come stop at home before driving to school that day, the shit that was going on with my car would have happened on 695, as it's getting darker. Way more dangerous than being in the parking lot of my home. And I think even, because then, was it later that week? Oh, so then later that week, some other shit happened. But yeah, that was like the initial, well, I think I could finish this out, like that part, the week out. Like, we got to stand on business. So even after standing on business, like, my dad was finally able to fix my car the 29th, the day that episode came out. So he's doing whatever, and we take it to, no, we don't get in, I don't get in his car. He don't got a car. Me, my mom, and my dad, which is the first time that they have been together. All three of us have been together since I graduated high school, which is now, like, we're going on 10 years ago, which don't even get me started on our class reunion. And that's all I'm gonna say. If you're looking at the screen, you see my face. Anyway, so, which hasn't happened yet. It's supposed to happen. I don't even remember. I'm not going. I don't know, because y'all, the price is way too high, and I'm pretty sure I have school that day anyway, and I just have other things to pay for. So, but I'm not gonna give a critique on why I think that. So we go to the shop to get, I know we had talked about, like my dad was saying I needed to get like antifreeze and like something else, and I knew that I was gonna need an oil change soon, and I've been trying to get my brakes fixed for fucking ever. So I'm like, okay, my mom's like, I don't want you driving around and I want you to be safe and da 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 da. So she like gets my brakes for me. I buy the stuff, the antifreeze and all that stuff, and my mom's like, we're gonna go put these brakes on your car right now. So I go pick up my car to drive it because I wasn't a hole in my radiator, but like the hose was loose. So my dad fixed that. I go drop my car off to a different mechanic to go put the brakes on. So then he called talking about whatever my dad did fucked up the car even more, and now repairs are gonna cost like thousands of dollars and da da da. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck? So I forget what he said the problem was. But it's just like, protection. And it was later that day that I had realized this. It's like, am I frustrated with how all of this happened? Absolutely. Fuck yes. Why does this keep happening to me? But I asked to be protected, and had things not gone the way they had gone, they could have been a lot worse. I could have been in many more worse positions. So that's just kind of like this past month. The month of March was just kind of really having to put a positive spin on a lot of things, and I reached a point where I was tired, but I'm always grateful. I'm always grateful. And that's what took me so long to record, because it was just like, I'm about to pause here, go change my shirt to make it seem like it's a new week. But, which I didn't need to tell y'all that, but I wanted y'all to know. Like, this is the dedication, right? And it's like, luckily, I had episodes that were stacked up, to be able to, I didn't have to worry about recording. But then it was like, I still, fuck it. I might tell. No, I feel like it's a Patreon story. It definitely is a Patreon story. It's kind of gross. So I'll make it a bonus episode. It involves puke. So if you have a really weak stomach, I would not listen to that episode. But yeah, it's been a month. And yeah, so I just had to find myself like just constantly in the thick of things. One positive thing would happen, or I put a positive spin on it, and then it was the next thing. Like, god damn, give a bitch a break. But yeah, so Mango's message, I think. Oh, before I get into Mango's message, Patreon, because there were some things that I wanted to say. Behind the scenes poll play this month. So obviously, we have behind the scenes poll play available in all tiers: house fee, main stage, and champagne room. Then we have Toy Talk, which is main stage and champagne room, and then we have Tales of a Sensual Findom in champagne room. The tiers are $333, $666, and $999. And I think it like might be a little bit more than that. So I think like the because I don't remember if I set it to charge extra tax. So like the $333 might really be like $380 or something like that. I might be making that number up, but it's around those prices. But in behind the scenes poll play, I had a performance in March, my 4th, technically 6th, but my 4th poll performance. I would add the video into this, but I already know this is going to be longer, and I actually embedded it in the poll play video. But for those of you who are listening or watching and you're like, bitch, I'm not going to Patreon. Cool. You can go to my pole dance page, Pole Poppin' Packs, and the video was there. But I shout out to Pole Plus. Shout out to May Day. She's been on this journey. I'm like, dang, she introduced me at my first show. She introduced me at my she wasn't the host for the third performance, but she was a host in the first, and she was the host in my 4th. And just shout out to her, shout out to Pole Plus, shout out to Jada, the serpent girl, Jada, the owner of Pole Plus. Yeah, I had a great time, and shout out to all the other performers that were in it. So I had my performance on March 26th, and it was a freestyle because I really didn't know. Like, I have known that I was gonna be in the show. I think honestly since like January, definitely early February. Um, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna have time to practice, and I really wanted to do something slow and flowy, which I didn't get to in this episode, but I'll get into that in the follow up to this. I wanted to do something slow. I wanted to do something flowy, easy, and not so trick heavy. Um, or just focusing on slowing down. So I had picked this. I did to Flash It by Gucci Man and Lloyd, because the theme was like 2000s Dirty South, and I I I don't know how I'll be losing my sentences in the middle of them. Um Life was life, and so I didn't have time to actually practice, and I'm not going to a studio right now. I'm not a member of any studio. Like, my pole practice is literally just like when I have the energy to pole in here. And so, as I've always said, I always just try to put more into flow, because I just be like, let me just be so hard and do the fucking trick. Oh, this looks cool. And yeah, so before it ended up, everything just kept going and going, and I almost dropped out of the show. But when my cousin had already bought a ticket, shout out to you. And then it was a tippet show, which was going to be my first tippet show, so I was like, it's a chance to make a little bit of money. So I didn't want to just bail, and I'm like, I've performed before. I know, like, the only thing I'm worried about is busting my ass. Just don't bust your ass, don't stop dancing if you do bust your ass, or whatever the case may be. And it's just always a good time, so I still wanted to go through with it. And one of, like, in my room I have my little whiteboard with all my goals, and one of my goals is to perform at least 3 times this year. So I already knocked off one. I just need to find 2 more performances. So behind the scenes pole play, I had just started recording. I was just like, fuck it, we'll see what happens. I might use this just to have it, I might not. But then when I wasn't going to, but then I was like, wait, you have this, go back and just see what you even did. And I was like, oh wait, this is actually really good. So yeah, that's the backstory of behind the scenes pole play. My critique on my performance is definitely not my favorite performance out of all 4. And I say I've really had 6 performances, because I've performed at Black and Kinky twice. And that was just like impromptu. I'm just there talking to people, and then the song comes on. I'm like, oh my god, I love this song. And then I run to the front, and I'm like, can somebody turn the pole on spin? And then they're like, do you actually know how to use it? I'm like, yes, 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 please. And then I like run it, and if I don't have my heels on, I'll put my heels on. And then everybody starts going, oh, she's about to dance. And then I dance until the song's over. But yeah, anyway. So my critique on that is just that it's not my favorite performance, because it's not as I was just I wasn't nervous. The only nerve I had was the obvious one of I don't want to fall and bust my ass. I just didn't feel prepared, and I really didn't, because I knew, because I haven't been polling, I don't have, like, my strength isn't where I would really like it to be. So I knew that I wasn't going to be on the pole as much. I had never actually been to the studio before the dress rehearsal, so I had luckily I did go. And I did not the dress rehearsal, but they had like an open studio. Luckily I did go, because I had a better layout of the space to see what I was working with. And I was like, okay, well, they don't really have like a lot of ceiling height, so I know that I can't just like climb up the pole 3-4 times and do some crazy drop down or something like that. So in my head, I was like, I'm not really going to be on the pole anyway. The trick that I wanted to do, because what I had said originally I was gonna do was I was going to do either, I don't know the names of anything, and maybe if I can find like another video of it in the next one, I'll show a video of me doing a move. But I was like, I wanted to do that move. I had briefly thought about doing an invert because I've never actually done an invert during a performance. I don't think. Um, and so I was like, I wanted to do an invert into like an upside down pike, and then maybe do a jade, but I haven't really been stretching. Like, I haven't really done yoga since fucking January, Feb, I don't know, fucking know when. So I'm not at my best flexibleness and all of that, even though, but I know I'm good. Like, so it's like, it came to as I'm watching, I didn't do as well in the tipping show as I would have liked, but I think that the two main factors were one, song choice. Song choice is really big in tipping shows because you want something that's gonna hype the crowd up. Like, a lot of people, I don't think, know the song that I chose. Like, I really like it. I enjoy it. It's a hot song. I've always loved that song. And people be like, "Oh yeah, this is hot," but that's not one of the. I think that was on Trap House 4. I don't remember. But it was on one of the Trap House albums. It's like the black one with the gold and the cup. Anyway, it wasn't like one of the popular songs from that album. A lot of people didn't know that Gucci Mane and Lloyd had a song. So that was like one, I think one of the main factors of like, oh, this song is hot and she doing some cool shit. But like, when a song is hot, people like hype, they hype. And if you catching like a lyric or you catching a beat or whatever, they're throwing money. And then the second thing is, I went third to last out of a 2-hour show. Niggas is done through all their money. They tired. They don't want to see my ass. They trying to go home. So I think that those were two big factors. And then like, critique on myself, when I went back and watched the video, it's like, one, I needed to have better audience placement. Like, I moved too far back, and it was just like some of the things I was moving too fast. I could have slowed down, but it was a little bit of like my nerves, and there was like this awkward part. I had to cut the song myself because I think the song is like 4 something minutes, but I wanted to cut it down to 2:30, but it would have awkwardly ended. So then I had to like grab a piece and do it. And so then the song, like, in my head the song was over, but then it wasn't, so it ended up like I cut it to 3 minutes exactly. And so it was just like a lot of things, and for me to have done everything so last minute, because I didn't even cut my music until I think like performer applications, I knew I was going to be in it since January. Performer applications were due like Friday or Saturday, or maybe Saturday. And then I think I hit May up on Friday, like, yo, life is kicking my ass right now, but I still do want to perform. And she's like, okay, well, make sure that you send your performance fee and like send me the application by Sunday. But if you don't do it by Sunday, like, you're out. And I'm like, I got you. So then even then I had to, like, I still, like, I knew I was gonna do the song, but I still had to cut it. I ain't have no performance. The performance was in a week. Like, it was just, but as I was watching people, like, I love performing. I love being in the community. It's so important. And I'm so grateful that I'm a part of so many different communities. Like, I have my education community. I have my therapy community. I have my sex work community. I have my kink community. I have my art community. I have my pole community. Like, I have my black woman community. Community. It's so important. Spaces are important for you to, know that whatever it is you want is capable. I'm rapping. Y'all said I was going to end at 120, and this is like, at the time of this recording, it's 130, but once I add the ads in, it's going to be like pushing on 140. So let me really shut up now, y'all. Mango's message, just everything I said, like, be intentional with your words, be reflective. Okay, take the time to slow down, like, be as present as you can, because being present also helps you be more in check with yourself and your emotions, and gives you a little bit more like level-headedness and realism when approaching things. And take the time to reflect before you react to things. Teach these kids about life, not Pythagorean theorem. And see, I don't even remember anything else. Like, that's the only thing. Like, I remember Pythagorean theorem, and I remember the name. I don't remember how to do that shit. The fuck? Anyway, I taught art, not math. Y'all be safe. Make good choices.